Okay, welcome to the January 6th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. First item on the agenda is the election of officials. We will start with the vice chairperson. And I'm going to make a motion to appoint Bill Cumby to be the vice chairperson for the upcoming year. Second. All right, seconded by Chris. Any public comment? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Okay.
I would like to nominate Mike as the chair
Okay.
once again.
I second.
Okay. Any public comment on that? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the meeting minutes dated. Our last meeting was October 7th, 2025. I reviewed the minutes. I find them to be acceptable. I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, second by Nick. Any questions, public comments? No? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next item on the agenda, zoning hearing board application 679 for 400 Leopard Road.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, okay.
Hey. You.
I'm not here yet. This is in front of you as well. I know it's being labeled, so this is gonna be hopefully everything a little bit easier. It's fine, everyone? So as we can see, there is, sorry, I'll start with myself. My name is Harry Heiger. I'm a licensed professional engineer from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I'm here to represent the Rockwell Group for their property of Rockwell Development for their property at 400 Leopard Road in Berwyn, Pennsylvania. Just jumping into the plan to explain the property, we can see that there's a rectangular polygon with a light gray brown shading in the center of exhibit A14. So we're looking at the plan center of exhibit A14 on the eastern side of the plan view. We see a rectangular polygon that is the existing home. Looking to the east of that, we see a circular asphalt kind of gray shade. That indicates the existing driveway of the property. It's worth noting that the existing driveway extends past the property line into the right of way, and just outside of the property line, parking occurs within this area. Looking planned south, the existing driveway, we see a 1.5 story existing garage on the property. Looking planned west towards the center of our plan view on exhibit A14, you see a 2-story stone structure. This stone structure is an existing stone structure that is aesthetically pleasing. It's old. We believe it has value to the property and the township. And looking to the east of that structure, we see the existing pool. The existing pool can be seen with an anemic blue shape, surrounded by a kind of tan circle. The pool itself is the blue. The tan circle is the patio surrounding it. We can also see a brown line slightly north of the pool that runs along it. This is the retaining wall where the pool is set into the hill. As we're looking at the plan, we'll notice there's a couple areas of these blue lines and kind of red lines grouping around. So you'll see these dashed brown lines. Those indicate the contours for the existing grade on the property. We can see that these contours get closer together in these areas. These areas, the blue line indicates steep slopes between 15 and 25% of the area. And the red line within indicates areas with greater than 25% steep slopes that will be disturbed in the proposed condition. So again, the blue area that is the circle, as well as the red area, is why we are here this evening. Those are areas that would likely be disturbed with the proposed condition to establish a proposed home. It is also worth noting that in the existing conditions, the property is 2.5 or 2.2 feet from the property line along Sugartown Road. As well as that, it projects into the front floor setback. Moving on to the proposed plan, exhibit A15. These numbers. How's that? So, as stated, tonight we're here to seek variances from township ordinances. The variances we're here to see are in regard to disturbing the steep slopes and in general the steep slopes on the property. The steep slopes, again, we can see delineated by the red pitch movement and the blue pitch movement. Again, the blue is a big line indicating areas of existing steep slopes between 15 to 25% slopes, and the red steep line indicating existing steep slope greater than 25%. 25% or greater. The variances requested are from section 274-24A1 to allow for disturbance of 80% of moderately steep slope areas consisting of 15 to 24.9% slopes, with 50% is allowed. From section 27-24A2 to allow disturbance of 100% of the very steep slopes areas consisting of 25% or greater slopes, with 15% is allowed. And finally, from section 274-24A2 to allow an impervious coverage of 59% over the existing area of very steep slopes, consisting of, and there's a typo on the plan here, I'd like to point out, which should say 25% greater slopes, but 5% is allowed for the third variance. So it's where it says 15 to 25, that would be 25% slope. So looking at the proposed improvements while accounting for this variances, we can see the proposed home. Proposed home on the lot, dark tan rectangular polygon, and is located on the plan east side of the plan. Again, this is on exhibit A15. Looking east of the proposed home, we can see a gray circle as well as a leg that comes off of this north. That indicates the proposed driveway. It's worth noting that the proposed driveway is coming off the same location on Leopard Road, except it now does not extrude across the property line with the public right of way. And all parking is contained within the property in a characteristic manner surrounding area. It is also worth noting that the proposed house adheres and conforms to all zoning setbacks as set forward by the ordinance. The proposed home, as we look west of it, we can see the stone structure, the existing two-story stone structure, and located in the center of the plan on exhibit A15 is to remain. You will notice the thick black line that edges around the area, which indicates our limited disturbance does not touch this area. Additionally, you'll notice that the home is centered on that red outline. This is this variance 3. And I would like to clarify, we are not proposing to pave a steep slope. This is an area we'll be developing. It will be flattened out slightly in this area, and the house will be set into this. So we are not proposing to pave a steep slope. This is more so we are building and improving this area that is a steep slope. It is also worth noting, looking at exhibit A14. Sorry, to flip quickly. It's also worth noting, looking at exhibit A14, that the contours in the existing fence appear to follow the line of the existing pool of the property. Following this, we believe it's a reasonable assumption that these slopes were man-made for the construction of the pool. Looking back to exhibit A15. Switching back to exhibit A15, again, we can see those same slopes delineated with the blue and red lines. To construct this home in this location, we are required to disturb the slopes. This is the preferable location, as it will not result in any disturbance to the existing two-story stone structure on the property. It conforms to all zoning variants, conforms to the zoning setbacks. And finally, it's a hope from the owner to kind of put a fresh chapter on this property on the corner of Leopard and Sugartown, and kind of fresh start, leave the past behind. I'm happy to answer any questions.
So is the owner that lived in that house that had burned down gonna live in this house now? They're rebuilding it?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
No,
Okay.
no,
So they sold it and now you're selling it to somebody else?
That's correct.
Okay.
There are some elevations in B16.
Yeah. The other question I have is, it doesn't look like the downstairs basement area, which makes sense to walk out. There are windows there. You're not gonna have a walkout or some kind of patio underneath that?
To my knowledge, from the plan, it does not appear to be a patio. It will be a walkout on our basement floor elevations of approximately 415. On exhibit A15, we can see proposed contours coming in. We see 413 coming off and tying to the existing 413 and 412 coming underneath. This will allow a flat kind of 413 walkout area that is slightly less. We're looking right in this section.
Yeah. And are they, I mean, this doesn't have to do with the zoning, but are they planning to do any kind of, I mean, it's very pretty from the outside, but it doesn't like have, it doesn't to me look like, from what I've seen, the existing structure have a nod to the history of that building. The existing home obviously is very old.
Mhm.
And it seems like there could be some architectural features that I think would be nice to pay homage to what home was there before. And I think it could probably be done easily, on the facade.
Yeah, excuse me, we haven't necessarily finalized the materials and
Sure.
those architectural details that could be applied to that floor plan and house, but we want to at least have something to get some sort of visual as we proceed along here and then as we finalize the layout.
And does this have to go before the Historic Society?
No.
Or Historic, it
No,
doesn't have to
just-
go before the Historic Commission, okay. So, know if,
Was this a class A,
It's
township?
not a class one historic resource and it's
Okay.
not in the village.
okay,
Got it.
that's just my question. If someone buys this and they decide to put a pool in it, do you see any reason why they're gonna end up being back here for any kind of zoning really? Other than if they put it in this kind of build in,
It looks like there's some areas.
that's what I'm saying, it's just, I just,
Here, move that.
okay, that's great.
Where
Okay.
is the end of the property on this?
You know, the property
Oh,
is
way
on
there.
the western end.
It doesn't look
It's a
that
lot,
long.
you don't realize it until you go down Sugar Town.
The driveway's do it.
The driveway is there for
Yeah.
this one, first, they don't consider.
Okay, is that where the house is before there, right? So there's
And there's
another
the
neighbor
house
back here?
Yeah, you can see the corner.
If you Google Earth, it, you can see it.
Oh, yeah, I don't live that far away.
They're actually here.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're just in here because you're gonna build into some slopes?
We have, we go to zoning.
So does this trigger any of the sidewalk, requirement, already?
It does.
I think everything. brings it-
They have a choice to pay the sidewalk fee in lieu or install sidewalk. But that doesn't have anything to do with the steep slope, so that's within the right of way.
So, I don't know why we have these rules for the steep slopes, but we probably do. What's the purpose of them and why should we be concerned that you're gonna do something different?
Steep slopes ordinances generally pertain to maintaining stability and avoiding erosion. They're there to protect sensitive natural features that occur within the naturally occurring the soil profile, to simple it down. There's these big collarways, which you can think almost of columns of soil. As they've naturally established over time, they provide structural stability to the soil around it. Steep slope ordinances, in my experience, were written to protect these naturally occurring sensitive features. Whereas an area where if you were to disturb the steep slope, it may lead to further erosion or further environmental concerns down the line.
Right, so what are you doing to offset that?
We will be following all erosion and sediment pollution controls for the township's ordinances. As well as that, if there's any areas where slopes are proposed over 3H1B or equal to 3H1B, they will have rolled erosion control products placed on them to stabilize the slope.
So no retaining walls or just
There are two proposed retaining walls in the property. Looking below the driveway, you see a thick brown line in the proposed condition, so it's on exhibit A.
right here?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's two retaining walls, and that's just to minimize the proposed slope around the edge of the house. We don't want to be putting in more significant man-made steep slopes. We're hoping to break this out.
Yeah, some townships let you disturb man-made steep slopes. East Town does, a lot of local townships don't as well, because it's not as much of a problem with it. That's why, we always say we think the man-made steep slope could be in the steep slope.
Tony, is Bill on?
I did not see them. On.
Yeah, I'm just glad something's getting done here, it's like so long.
Yeah, finally.
It's a fresh chapter.
Sure.
Yeah, they just purchased at the end of November and actually we're waiting for the permits from Pico and the underground thing so they can start demolition on these.
All right, I will make a motion to recommend to the zoning hearing board that they approve, or that they grant the variances under We start over. They grant the variances to permit disturbance of more than 50% of the 15 to 24.9 sloped areas under 274-24.a1. And the disturbance of more than 15% of the over 25% sloped areas under 274-24A2. And also that they grant the requested relief from the maximum of 5% impervious coverage permitted in 274-24A2. That sound good?
It does.
Okay. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Yes.
Bill Friedrich, 125 Newtown Road, Easttown Historic Commission. You've probably read the article in the most recent committee magazine about the history of the house. And we're glad to see the property being improved. Our one recommendation would be to retain the garage that's pre-existing supposedly in the archives done by the Teague Historic Society. That garage predates the actual house that was built in 1865 by Joseph Charlotte and was a former stable. We haven't done an on-site, we're not permitted inside defense. We do on-sites all the time. That would be our recommendation, would be to try and preserve that as a stable. We're glad to see that the tenement house that supposedly was part of the Underground Railroad is being retained. We're thrilled about that, but we would like to see the garage preserved if possible. But again, everybody's glad to see this property improved. Everybody.
Yes.
Just a question, I have some difficulty following some of this, but I do, I'm Steve Kramer. I live 2 houses down on Leopard's Road. The driveway that's currently there is a short driveway. That's also that area, I'm sure many of you are familiar with, where the Sugartown traffic and the Leopard Road.
Yeah.
There's stop signs there. It's been problematic over the years. It's getting busier and busier and busier. Is that driveway that's on the drawing? Is that just the same driveway that is currently there, or?
No, it'll be significantly different than the existing driveway. The existing driveway, you can see extrudes out of the actual property line onto that corner you're talking about. It's problematic.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
These plans, there's so much going on. But yeah, so it extrudes out of the property line. That's the existing driveway, it's just shaded.
Okay.
This is where you're probably seeing a lot of cars.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on that road
Mhm.
and you know, between Easttown traffic moving, Sugartown Road traffic going, I think it's a busy intersection. Some cars can't make a turn.
Mhm.
They have to go through, they have to stop half in Sugartown, half on Leopard to let another car pass by.
So you
So
can see the driveway.
you're moving away based
Yeah.
on that, right? So it's gonna be more in the
So
middle.
the entrance is in the same
Oh,
location,
okay.
but the actual drive itself is centered in the property. So the issue you're likely seeing is on this corner, the car's trying to pull.
Right, yeah, the turn.
That's, this area will be
quick. Thanks.
So, just for clarity, gentleman was asking about issues with trash on the corner of Leopard Road and Sugartown due to the existing drive. Was curious about if the drive would be reconfigured. The drive is being reconfigured to stay within the property, but it is the same entrance.
Any other public comment? Pauline, anything online?
Nothing online.
All right, so. Let's take a vote.
Sure.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other public comment about anything? Pauline?
Nothing online.
Okay. Our next meeting is Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. Meeting adjourned. Would you like to?
Oh, no, we have one.
A lot of paper.
That may have been the fastest planning meeting ever.